I'm Dr. Tammy Clark. I am the Dean of Clinics here at Palmer West, and I would like to extend a very special welcome to the current ninth quarter class, as well as their family, friends, and any faculty that are here today. So before we get started, I'd like to give a special thanks to Monica and Rashida and the facilities and IT team, as well as your class rep, Sabrina. It takes a lot of hard work to pull together. So today, this ceremony will officially recognize the newest group of Palmer West chiropractic interns. This pinning ceremony marks a very significant milestone in their journey to becoming chiropractors. It marks the culmination of 2.5 years of hard work so far, and it also marks the beginning of the next phase of their chiropractic education, their clinical internship. So on the journey thus far, you have been preparing for this day through countless classes, endless hours of studying, more exams than you care to think about. You've got more coming up probably before too long, and hours upon hours of hands-on practice. Today, we are going to mark your official transition from student to intern. We have watched all of you grow and mature throughout your time here at Palmer. I remember when you were all in third quarter and just how young you all seemed back then. And then I got the privilege of working with all of you last quarter in correlative clinical evaluation, and she started integrating all of your clinical skills in preparation for student clinic. And look at you now. And I get to see all of your faces now, which is very, very nice. You have undergone a tremendous amount of personal and professional growth and transformation, and I trust that you will make us all very proud as you enter into our outpatient clinic experience. So your class is a group of individuals, and now you will be joining the larger cohort made up of Palmer interns, clinicians, and clinic staff, all working together with a common goal of providing the best possible care to our patients. I have no doubt that you will keep all of us on our toes as you work your way through clinic, but we will also continue to constructively challenge and shape you along the way. As you begin seeing your patients in the outpatient clinic, you'll have times where you might feel overwhelmed. You might have already noted that already. Maybe a little uncertain and overcome with doubt. But I want to encourage you to take ownership of your experience in the clinic, even taking ownership of your uncertainties as you make every effort to make the most out of your time. I want to take a moment before we go any further to remind all of you why you are here. You are here because you have chosen to take on the responsibility of being a physician. You have chosen a career where you are responsible for guiding your patients to optimal health. And you have chosen Palmer West to learn to become the best doctor of chiropractic you can be. In practice, I've often had patients say that I never knew chiropractors were this thorough, or I never knew that chiropractors treated this way, or that I never knew that chiropractors cared so much. And my response always is, it's because you haven't met a Palmer West chiropractor before. And I feel very strongly about that. In the coming years, one year, you will be building your very first chiropractic practice. And I want to make sure you heard me right. I did say your very first practice. Many of you are dreaming of what you think will be your first practice after you graduate. But actually, your first practice is starting right now, here in the clinic. You will be responsible for the care of your patients. You will be promoting and growing this first practice of yours. You'll be working with an exceptional staff that is here to support you. You will be working with colleagues and clinical mentors that are helping to guide and grow you. And it will be up to you to determine how much you take from this experience, and it will be up to you how much you get out of it. Your time in the clinic, I want to remind you of this, it's so much more than just getting the minimum number of credits to graduate. It is about laying the foundation for the kind of doctor that you will become. I want to encourage you as you work your way through clinic to be mindful that you are more than a technician. You are becoming a physician. You represent the chiropractic profession. You represent Palmer West, and I actually have no doubt that you're going to represent us well. So I still remember my day like this. It's a very memorable milestone. I remember every patient that I saw when I was a student in clinic. I remember Dr. Snow when he was a new faculty member while I was an intern. Dr. Souza sitting back there. I remember Dr. Souza. I believe he was dean of clinics when I first started. And I remember how frightening it was going through the clinic entrance and exit exams while he was leading that process. These are moments that shaped me, moments that I will never forget, and moments that laid the foundation for the kind of doctor that I became. You are in the midst of that moment right now, and it will make a huge impact on the kind of doctor that you will become. I am going to invite the Dean of Academic Affairs and the Senior Campus Administrator, Dr. Snow, to the podium, and he's got a few words to say to you as well before we continue on with our ceremony.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I have a few less words now since Dr. Clark said everything I was going to say, but I'm good at impromptu speaking. Given that I ran this ceremony for 16 years, I know I can come up with something. But I want to start less for your benefit, but more for yours, to just assure you of what a great group of people you're involved with that are sitting over here. I've had the opportunity to work with these students in the classroom, and they were delightful to work with, but there's a lot of leaders over here in this group that not only spend time in the classroom, but go beyond in a myriad of different ways to advance Palmer West and the profession. And truly my joy to work with all of you. You're great people. I know you'll also be great doctors because of the personality traits and the dedication that you bring with you out into the field. And so, we're blessed to have such a great group of students here today, and it's my pleasure to say a few words in commemoration of this really, I think, important milestone in your educational journey. And so, as Dr. Clark said, is that transition from, in the chiropractic educational realm, moving from being a student to being an intern, which is where you begin the process of actually interfacing with the public and demonstrating and continuing to practice and develop the skills and knowledge and attitudes that you've gotten along the way, and start to see your hard work pay off. And it's a really important year, and I think it is your first chance to develop a practice. And just like in practice, the saying goes, if treat the patients well and the money will follow, right? It's kind of like, if you're there for the money, it's usually not going to be successful. In the clinic, it's the same thing, but replace money with credits, because that's the intern money. That's our funny money in the clinic, right? It's the credits that people earn. So treat your patients well, and the credits will follow. We have a minimum number of patient encounters or credits that students have to earn. And I also like to say, or I used to say when I was involved with clinics, that that minimum number is a C-. And I know none of you strive to get C-. So as you go through this journey, every encounter you have with a patient while you're here advances your skill set and capabilities once you leave. And so the more experience you get here, the farther along you are on that practice development curve and competency curve, and the sooner you're going to be successful in practice. And so I encourage you to look at it that way. You we have a very robust clinic system here. You will get plenty of patients. But make sure that you also rely on yourself to develop the most essential skill in chiropractic, which is being able to effectively communicate with patients so that you can explain to them in a way that's meaningful to get them to come into the clinic to receive your care, and then to understand why they are getting that care and what your treatment plan is while they're there. I think a lot of times students feel like the hardest thing and the most important thing is learning, how to adjust, evaluate, adjust, and diagnose patients. And that stuff's all super important. But if you can't communicate effectively while you're doing that, then it's all kind of, I'm going to say it's for naught. But if you're in a practice setting where you have to bring and keep patients into your practice, it is probably the most crucial thing that you have to learn to do. And this next year gives you the opportunity to do that. You have the ability and the skill set at this juncture. If we were to cut you loose today, I'll scare some of you, and some of you might be, yeah, let's do that, right? You'd go out there, you'd be really green, you'd be like one of those vegetables they pick and pack and sits there green and it ripens on the vine, but you actually have the skills you need now to get to where, to get people well. But you haven't had all the education you need, and you certainly haven't had a chance to develop and ripen and get you probably the confidence level that you need and the repetition and speed and everything else you need that the next year is going to give you the opportunity to develop. And so the time here is crucial. I've no doubt about your competence. We just need to continue to work and develop so that your transition into practice is going to be as smooth as possible, and your slope, your curve to success is going to be as accelerated as possible. And again, I have no doubt all of you will be rising rapidly on that curve. Not that there will not be challenges. There are always challenges. But I know historically that our students, our West Campus graduates, do very well out into the field. All graduates take time to get to where they're comfortable and successful to build the practice, because that's based on sweat equity. But that sweat equity and learning what it takes to make it happen, you can start doing that process now, and that's what I encourage you to do. And you never know the person you might impact, and sometimes impact in a very dramatic way. There are chiropractic miracles that happen out there. That means sometimes we get very unusual outcomes when we see a patient, and it's not something you can rely on oftentimes, but you see somebody and you treat them and they have this dramatic, life-changing response to the care you give. And so you will experience that in your practices. Certainly you will experience patients that have been living in pain for a long time, and they come and see you, and that pain goes away, and their quality of life improves. And that might be a miracle to them. You'll see that frequently, and it'll be mundane to you. But always remember to celebrate that miracle with your patients. And if you go out there now over this next year, you find people and ask them, have you tried chiropractic care? And you bring them in here, communicate with them, give them the best patient-centered, effective treatment that you can give them, and they have that outcome, that's going to resonate with you for a very long time. I still remember patients that I saw when I was in clinic where they had that type of response, and it has dramatic impact on you. And so I encourage you again just to make the most of it. Get out there, talk to people, tell them about the value and benefit of chiropractic care, keep them away from pharmaceuticals and unnecessary procedures and surgeries, and get them well with chiropractic. So congratulations to you all on this milestone in your educational pathway. I celebrate for you today. and look forward to you having an outstanding upcoming year in the clinic system.
All right, our student body president, our ASG president, Zach Scott, has a few words to say to all of you on behalf of the student body. Zach, come on up.
Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? This mask thing is kind of weird. My mustache feels so free and exposed at the same time. I'm not sure what to do about it. But I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for being here today. Today is a very cool day. Friends and family members have traveled far to watch you all take this important step towards accomplishing something that you set out for over 2.5 years ago. That's a pretty long time. It's amazing how fast time flies by. Today is an exceptionally special pinning ceremony for a variety of reasons. One of them being that all of you here started your journey towards becoming a chiropractor about the same time that I did back in the fall of 2019. With this being said, it's fun to have the privilege to be here today, allowing me to see firsthand how far all my buddies have come. It's pretty cool. Throughout the past 9 quarters that have passed by just as quickly as everyone told us they would, habits have been established that have led you to be successful like you have so far. Some of these habits may include the following. 1, consuming a daily dose of caffeine that would be lethal to a small animal. 2, walking enough laps around a single building to total the distance of several marathons. Another habit that has been established is keeping your head down as you move forward through this great learning experience towards your goal of graduation. The only problem with keeping your head down and doing what needs to be done is that you don't ever look up to see how much progress has been made in such a short amount of time. You also don't look up to see how much opportunity for success lies ahead as a product of the great position that you put yourself in through consistent hard work and the desire to be a successful healthcare provider. Today is a day to both look backwards and forwards alongside your family, friends, and your cohort to celebrate a big step towards beginning your future occupation. Throughout 2 years of reading textbooks and memorizing PowerPoint slides, it's easy to forget why you began this process in the first place, but your first couple weeks in outpatient clinic will definitely be reminded of that. It takes a personable, compassionate, knowledgeable, and determined individual to do this. And after sharing time here alongside you all since literally day 1 in the fall of 2019, I have no doubt that each and every one of you encompass these attributes and will have an immense amount of success in this job. I'm very proud of you all, and I'm looking forward to working alongside you all next quarter in clinic. Congratulations. Welcome back up, Dr. Clark. Dean of Clinics.
Thanks, Zach. All right, before we get to the official pinning part of the ceremony, I'd like to share some final thoughts with all of you about the discoveries that you're going to make as you continue on your path from intern to doctor. Zach did a really great job reminding you of what brought you here, but I want to remind you of what you can look forward to in the next year. You're going to discover just how important your words are, and you're going to discover the power of your touch. You're going to discover how important it is to understand that a patient is a human being, not just a diagnosis to be treated. You're going to discover that in order to understand pain, it means understanding the patient, their values, their worries, their hopes, and their dreams. You're going to discover that empathy and communication are critical to healing. And mostly you're going to discover that being a chiropractor is a calling, not just a profession. It's a commitment made between you and your patients to oversee their care personally and with excellence. It's going to mean a lifetime of learning. It means exposure to human emotions at their worst and at their best. And all the while, you will discover the humbling privilege and honor it is to care for your patients. So with that in mind, it's come the time for the presentation of your pins, which formally symbolize your transition from student to intern. Dr. Dahl Betty is going to join me up here. Dahl is the director of clinics, and he is going to read the names, and when your name is called, please come forward. Give us a minute to move this podium without moving it over. This is always the trickiest part. Let's get better wheels on this thing. There we go. Okay, I think that deserves a round of applause. All right, so as Dr. Betty calls your name, please join me to receive your pin, and I'm going to pin it on you as you come up here.
Okay, I'm good. Morning, everybody. Congratulations. Here we go. Ram 2.
Looking at the camera.
Gallo. Love you. Hernandez.
I'd love to get a five for the idea doing that.
Nally. Name.
Actually see that smile.
Joe Lobos Tello.
Thank you.
Jane.
She did. She like,
So with that pinning, that officially marks your transition from student to intern. Congratulations. I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's ceremony, for celebrating this occasion with us, and I want you to join me once again in giving a round of applause to the newest Palmer West chiropractic interns. And before we know it, this is crazy to say, but the graduating class of winter 2023. Joining us today, and I hope you guys enjoy your day, and it's wonderful to see all of your smiles actually.